Hey, what's up, everyone? This is me, Dre. I just want to do a follow-up video. About a week ago, I did a video about 14-year-old Irving, Texas student Ahmed Mohamed. He made a homemade clock, took it to school, wanted to show it off to a couple of teachers. One teacher in particular called the police, said, "Hey, looks like an explosive device. Send the police over here." Now, with that video, even if you look at the title where I mentioned about he makes a homemade clock, quote unquote homemade. Now, since then, I've had a lot of stupid motherfuckers come up on the video to argue about whether he invented the clock or not. And my video isn't about whether he invented a clock. That's like saying Christopher Columbus discovered America, but there were already indigenous people here. So we already know that theory is debunked. But Ahmed, he didn't invent a clock. He built a homemade clock out of bits and pieces, LED parts and wires and shit, put it in the housing, took it to school. He wanted to show it off. That was the emphasis that I made. But also the emphasis was about the fact that he's an American kid, just so happens to be Muslim, and he was arrested because the device that he had was perceived to be a potential bomb. In my previous video, I also mentioned and gave examples of other students, American students, who made similar devices but didn't get arrested. One of the students made an inert bomb, another one made a nuclear reactor, and that one he got equipment from Department of Homeland Security. But all of a sudden, you get this American kid who just so happens to be Muslim. He builds a clock. They think it looks like a bomb, and they want to arrest him for it. Now, motherfuckers that come on the channel or just anything where something like this happens and they think it's a hoax, who the fuck is going to come up with some sort of a plan to get arrested on purpose for the sake of all of a sudden having all of Muslim world come to his aid, or some sort of outcry as prejudice or racism against Muslims? We already know in this country racism exists. You have certain people that just so happen to be overprivileged. They feel like whenever something happens, Muslims are to blame for it. You hear this one guy talk to Donald Trump saying that America has a problem, it's Muslims. So shit like that. So with this kid, because he did grab national spotlight, and also another motherfucker, he seemed like he was butthurt and salty because of the fact that Mohamed got invited to the White House. But all of a sudden, if a white kid does something special, they don't get invited. So all of a sudden, it's okay if you're Muslim or some person of color, you're going to get an invite to the White House, to the Oval Office. You're going to get to bump elbows with the president. But lowly white kids, if you do something great, if you find a cure for AIDS or cancer, something like that, you're not going to get kudos from the president. That's what this one motherfucker seemed to cry about. First and foremost, shut the fuck up. The videos that I make is because I like to talk about certain things that happen and how fucked up the situation is. I don't try to overthink whether it's some sort of conspiracy theory or not. So when I'm talking about unarmed black people getting shot by the cops, there's no conspiracy theory behind it. It's pure racism. How many times would you have to be unarmed but all of a sudden deemed as a thug to get killed? And I don't want to stray too far off the fucking subject because I want to keep this on Mohamed. What he did was he tried to do something on his own. No, he didn't invite the fucking clock. Clocks, digital clocks in particular, have been around before this little bastard was even born. So that's not the point of it. But the key emphasis for those dumb motherfuckers that want to argue this, consider this. He takes his device to school, and the teacher that thought it was a threat, they didn't call a bomb squad. They called the cops. And even the cops didn't bring in a bomb squad to potentially defuse or keep this device from detonating. So that's a problem. Me as a parent, if I find out that my child is in school and there was a potential bomb and they didn't evacuate the school, I'm suing the fuck out of someone because my child's life was in jeopardy. So those two things, no bomb squad was called and the school wasn't evacuated. Those are the key things that you dumb motherfuckers that want to argue this shit, those are the things that you overlook. So if you think that this is a hoax, by all means, knock yourself out. But the common sense question is, why wasn't a bomb squad called? Why wasn't the school evacuated to protect the students? Think about these fucking things before you argue whether someone invented a fucking clock. clocks have been around, so you can't invent something that's already been there. That's the emphasis of my video. And the fact that this young kid, who just so happens to be Muslim once again, was arrested where other kids, American students, built similar clocks and they didn't get in trouble whatsoever. That's the reason why I made that video. And the reason why I made this is because dumb motherfuckers that come to this channel, I mean, you get them all the time, and it's amazing how the internet brings out the foolishness and the stupidity of many people. But I needed to make this video to address that shit. It's not about who invented the clock. It's about a Muslim kid who makes a homemade clock, wants to show it off, but gets arrested because an overzealous or scary-ass teacher thinks it's a bomb. But they didn't evacuate to protect the kids. They didn't call a bomb threat just to keep shit from potentially blowing up. Think about that shit. Anyway, if you like this video, I hope that you like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook. Peace.